Hey everyone, I'm Diane. Glad you're here today. Today I'm going to be talking about finances. If you are having trouble paying your rent or your house payment and things aren't going so well, it's time that you made a new plan before it's too late. Especially if you own your own home. For instance, I have a cousin. She and her husband were in their 50s. She had never really worked. She was a decorator, here and there for people. Very good one, I might add, but she didn't really work. But her husband was a trucker for Walmart, and he became sick with cancer. And eventually, a few months later, he died. She had no idea what to do. They had no savings. He had somehow let his life insurance lapse. Didn't have life insurance. She didn't have a job. She had never written checks before, never kept a checkbook. Didn't know what bills needed to be paid or how to pay them. She was just lost. She was lost. She got behind on her house payment, of course, because she didn't have any income. And she was so worried about it. She loved her house. My mom had actually built the house. That's a long story. I'll tell you that later. But anyway, she had built it for them. They had bought it. They actually had a second mortgage. They had built a pool. So there was quite a bit owed on the house. And she had zero. I told her, before it gets any worse, you need to rent the house. That would be 2 payments covered, because you would get a deposit in the first month. Or put it on the market and sell it. Do it now. She did not. She ended up losing the house. I guess 6 months, 7 months after Jimmy died. Shouldn't have said the name, but my family does not watch my videos. They don't know I make videos, and I'm okay with that. That's the way I want it. That way I can talk about things that I really couldn't say, if you know what I mean. So this is like private between me and you, right? Okay. Anyway, she moved in with her mom. And that's where she is today. She's in her 60s now. She still lives with her mom. And another sister. Her dad passed away a couple of years ago. Okay. Now who am I to tell her what to do? To give her any kind of advice? Well, I've lost 3 homes. And I was young and stupid. And if I had known what I told her to do, I would have done. But when you got a home and you're desperately trying to hang on to it because you love it and you can't imagine living anywhere else, you do. You just put it off and off until it's too late. Until they give you an eviction notice. So, like I said, I lost 3 homes. Now, I live next door to the home I lived in before I moved in this tiny house. So it has started that again. I worked at home in a workroom, did okay, but my house payment was $1,500, over $1,500 a month. That's pretty steep for an old woman. I was in my 60s then. And plus, I had just lost my grandson. I did not want to be in that house. It held too many memories. I'm not sure I could have sold it had it not been for that. Because I loved the house. It was my forever home. I was going to live there till I died. But I saw the writing on the wall. $1,500, a lot of money. So I put it on the market. When I finally found the right realtor, it sold within a week. That's important. You need to check into that kind of thing before you just let anybody try to sell it. Ask around. Anyway, thank you, Deborah. But I sold it. Now, I had 2 buildings on my property. I had one for storage and one for yard tools and things like that. It was a 10 by 20. My other larger storage building was 14 by 40. And I would go out there and stand in it and go, can I live in this building? So I Googled online floor plans 14 by 40. And I kept looking at them and figuring out how I could live comfortably, figuring out the spaces and what I would need to take with me. Because in reality, I'm alone, and the only rooms I use is the kitchen, living room to watch TV, and the bedroom to sleep, and a bathroom to bathe, right? That's 4 rooms. So, I knew I could live smaller. My house was 2,400 square feet. Didn't need it. I loved the house, but I didn't need it. So, that's what I did before I lost that house also. And I know some of you've probably lost homes or might be on the verge of losing your home. Try to figure out a different way of living. And people would say, you know, I moved here in the backyard of my daughter's house who lived next door to me. So I'm in her backyard on the very back side of it. But people would say, aren't you going to look over there and see your old home and be so sad and sick about it? Blah, blah, blah. And I hoped that that wouldn't happen. So when I moved in here, I could actually breathe. Do you know what it's like to breathe with no bills on your head? I mean, come on. This was a blessing. I'm just telling you, you can change your life. Even though you may not want to, you will understand when you can actually live in a space and have everything that you need and not have bills just pouring in and you can't pay them and you can't sleep at night. You're worried about them constantly, and it's just a freedom. I actually call my house freedom because I became free. I became free. I did live in that 14 by 40 for 2 years and I loved it. But I had this huge front porch that I had built. I mean, it was as long as the house. It was 40 foot by 10. And I never used it because I have allergies. You might can tell by the way I'm sound. So I never went outside. Plus it was hot. It was like a deck. It was hot. No trees actually over the deck. So I thought I had a really good year. A really good year. A really good year. I worked my butt off. But I had put back some money and I decided to build this sunroom, which I spent $15,000 on it. And it's huge and I love it. And my plants love it. My dogs love it. And although I can't watch TV in here in the daytime, At night, I come in here and watch TV. Also paint in here. My painting room is part of the space. I love it. All I'm saying is, before you lose everything, think about it. Do you know how many YouTube videos there are out there of people who have downsized and are totally happy? There's even people who live in a van and they're totally, wonderfully happy. I could have even moved in a van had I wanted to and lived in all of my children's driveway and could have visited them regularly. I could have done that too. Maybe you can do that too. But I chose the building because I already had it. It was paid for. So I chose the building instead. And I guess long story short, after I sold the house, I probably actually cleared $40,000, but you know, I paid off some bills that had piled up too. So I guess I had $30,000 to spend putting up walls and, you know, such as that. But you can, especially if you got family members who can do things like that or do electrical. My ex-husband did my electrical for free, basically. I paid for the materials. And, you know, pay somebody to do the plumbing. You can buy stuff at those stores, you know, Habitat stores, things like that. Find things on sale. Never spend money on a hot water tank. Mine is like 8 by 10 inches. I always have hot water. It's on demand. I think it was $200 on Amazon. There are ways. My air conditioners, I have one on each end of the house. I got them on eBay. They are mini splits, and I paid probably $400 for each of those, which is not bad for heating and cooling. And for 2 years, I only had the one. And when I built the sunroom, I knew I had to get one in here. It was going to be hot in here in the summer. Anyway, there are ways to make life better and easier. Even if you have kids, even if you still have small children, you can make a better life in a smaller space with no headaches. I encourage you, do what I did. I'm pretty happy. Other than the fact that I'm still grieving. But other than that, I would say that I am content. And I thank God every day for this space because I think it's pretty. I love it. I only work half time, paint the other half. I'm okay. I hope you're okay too. Thank you for watching. Talk to you next time. Bye.